What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Shot of Sports podcast. Grab a drink, a snack. This is your weekly dose of sports, where we'll break down and do a deep dive on the world of sports. Whether you're a casual fan or a diehard, we're here to bring you the latest, the best analysis, and the hottest takes. I'm your host, Jalen Nicholson Bourne. Please like, share, and subscribe, and even comment. Smash the like button on the right, and tap the icon on the right so you can be notified whenever we drop, so you won't miss one. Today we got on the show Azir Spencer, and we got Sam Strass. So how y'all? How's the week been? We almost through with it.
Man, I had to take my brother to the airport this morning. That's why I wasn't. That's why I'm so
That's
tired.
why I seen you send some in the group chat at like 4:50. I'm like, bro, why is he not asleep? It's like
Nah,
five over there.
well, I work up. I work at 6 every day, but that was I don't work today. But man, I had to get up and take him to the airport, and then he want to wake up 30 minutes before he bored. So I'm like, bro. So I'm sitting there for 30 minutes, and then he comes out. He's like, "Oh, what's up, bro? All right, bro. You gonna miss your flight?" So cool.
The good thing though about Milwaukee's airport is that you probably could show up 30 minutes before the plane even takes off and you'd still get there in no time. There's
You
no
should
no
show up.
waits, no lines, no traffic. It's
Yeah,
so easy to navigate. O'Hare, I really hate Chicago's O'Hare International.
really? I
That place
love
is
it.
hell on earth. That place
Midway
is
has
hell on
mid
earth.
the Midway Airport has gotten a lot easier. Has gotten a lot less
Yeah.
as jam packed as it used to be.
Well, it
But
helps that it's really only Southwest that flies out of Midway now. So just having one airline and limited amount of destinations kind of helps. But yeah, O'Hare is especially getting into O'Hare, it's a nightmare.
Oh yeah,
And then that parking lot too. If you leave your car overnight at O'Hare, it's either going to be broken into or not there when you get back. So best of luck to you. I remember this one time I was picking up my old roommates. I had dropped them off at O'Hare like the week prior. They went to go visit some buddies in North Carolina. And when I went to go pick them back up, as we were walking back to my car, we watched like a row over, maybe 6 cars down, this GMC just got busted into.
wow.
Like all the way, like we watched the guys do it. Not to count me as a witness or anything here. Like this is all hypothetical, of course, but we watched guys break into this GMC at the parking structure. So O'Hare, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need to stay there. I don't need to fly out of there. I'm all right.
Dude, the worst airport I've been to like navigate through is Dallas. It's huge.
Oh
It's probably
yeah.
it's probably the biggest airport I've ever seen in my life. And I've been to O'Hare multiple times. I've been to Dallas like 3 times, and they have like these tram carts or whatever, these tram rides or whatever, and it takes like 5 minutes to get across the entire airport. From I'm like, dude, I was at a connecting flight to Arizona from O'Hare, so we flew to no from Milwaukee. We flew to Dallas from Milwaukee, and then we had to go on the other side of the airport to get to our flight, and we almost missed it because the airport's way too big. So that was great.
hmm. Yeah, Salt Lake City's airport is not really too crowded ever.
Like, it got to be a little bit smaller,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, it's a lot smaller than Midway, and but yeah, we introduced the team name yesterday, so we got our gear, some gear that they were giving us. We got the Utah Mammoth stuff. So
Yeah, was that like a far and away the most popular choice, or was it tight? Like was it close with another name?
it was far and away. I think it was Utah Mammoth, but the second place one was obviously the Outlaws. I'm not sure if
Hmm.
anyone has seen that logo yet, but
I haven't seen it yet.
it was basically like a cowboy with a cowboy hat on, and he had his face covered like
Hmm.
with one of those do rag
Yeah,
with like a thing, and all you saw was his eyes. Yeah, so
Like a
kind of
bandit.
like
yeah,
a Renegades
yeah,
UFL logo. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
like
tough.
a bandit. Yep.
That's
Man,
tough.
it was pretty tough. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Like, at first I wasn't a Mammoth fan at all. I voted for the Outlaws, but since they made it, I mean, and then
I
all
like
the
what they did with like the mountains being like the head of the mammoth, and then one of the mountains is the state of Utah. I like all the little intricacies with that logo, though. It does go hard.
yeah, it's starting to grow on me a little bit. So, especially how they broke it down and stuff. Now you see all the stuff in it, so it's pretty cool.
Jalen, if what which kind of I don't mean to make you choose, but like what sport, like you know how you work hockey and basketball every day. what like is most exciting to go to every day? I know it's kind of similar, but like you love both of them obviously, but one that you cannot wait to go to sometimes.
Well, it has to, bro, for now, because since it's so new and since, NHL is so freaking, hype every single game, it has to be hockey because the
Bro.
environment is totally different than basketball.
So you recommend everybody watching this right now to watch some hockey.
Yes, go watch hockey, please.
Please watch it.
I was watching it during the Blackhawks run and stuff, but now actually being able to work in it and being in the environment, because this was like the first hockey games I've ever been to was when I got out here and started working. Game one of the hockey team when they played the Blackhawks, that was the first ever Blackhawks game I've seen in person.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah,
like,
wow. Go watch hockey, man. Go watch some hockey. Just
go watch hockey, especially playoff hockey. I mean, when we had the rally towels and stuff there in that kind of environment, it felt like playoffs for real, and every single moment was heightened. So we're gonna jump into our first topic. The Boston Celtics have done the absolute unthinkable. They choke another 20-point lead in the second half to just fall to the Knicks again. I don't know if the Knicks are just that good or if it's, the Celtics simply just not closing games. But Mikal Bridges will guard Tatum and have him turned over with like seconds remaining. So I do got that clip. Let me see. I'll get that out there. Yeah, let me get this clip out there. But we do have that clip, and
Going to use the timeout. Plenty of time here. It's Tatum. Robinson's on him. Tatum maneuvering. Oh, the ball knocked away. Another great defensive play for the Knicks. They've got it. They've won it. New York has gone up 2-0. And defense again.
You know what's funny? I was in one of our old group chats at the radio station right at the beginning of that game. I said, gentlemen, it is with great displeasure that I must inform you that the New York Knicks are expletive terrible at the game of basketball. And then out of nowhere, just slowly but surely, they stay within like 15, 20 points the whole rest of the game. And then the last 7 minutes happened, and it almost felt like they couldn't miss a shot. And then Boston couldn't buy a bucket the whole fourth quarter. Right? We've been talking about this most of the season, especially getting late into the year, about the Boston Celtics. This team that won a ring last year, the one that we're watching right now, does not remind us of that team from last year. There's just something off about them. There's I don't know what it is. What is it?
They had a fraudulent run last year, my friend. I hate to say it.
I can't say any championship is fraudulent, though.
Bro, it's not like I understand what you're saying, but like the teams they played weren't up to standard as they are this year. Think about it. The Cavs are healthy, but the Pacers are on a different level right now offensively. The Cavs are healthy, had a historic season. The Knicks are healthy. They got a better piece in Cat, so they can cover the paint a lot better. And so they're not gonna lose to the Pacers if they play the Pacers, I feel like. And who else? They played the Celtics played what? The Heat first round.
That was the Cavs that played them.
No, last year.
Last year. Last year, they 4-1 the Heat, 4-1 the Cavs, swept the Pacers, 4-1 the Mavericks.
So look, we played an injured Heat team, injured Heat team because Jimmy Butler was not playing. Okay,
and Jimmy Butler too. Let's be for real.
They won one, but like it would have been way more competitive than it was.
No, really, I think the Heat were like a 9 seed. They just won the tournament.
But the year before or 2 years before, they beat them in 7 against. No, maybe it was the year before. I don't remember, but
it was the year before because they made the finals against the Nuggets. That was the Nuggets ring,
right? And so then they played the Cavaliers, who had no Donovan Mitchell, I'm pretty sure, and I'm pretty sure banged up Evan Mobley. And then they played an unexperienced Pacers team who made it that far because they played an injured Knicks team. So
an inexperienced Mavericks in the championship too.
And Luka, one of the worst defenders in the league last year and arguably this year as well. And Kyrie just got double teamed the entire time because Luka just is that great at offense, but you can just one-on-one Luka and it's great. They have a super team. So now that teams are back up to standard and can actually compete, you can see now the difference between the teams. I mean, obviously Celtics are great, healthy, but they don't have a bench. They don't have a bench to help them out when they're down like that, or when they get up like that. They don't have any closing pieces off the bench, and it showed a lot yesterday because the Knicks are pretty deep. Okay, they got. I know they didn't play everyone yesterday, but they had Cameron Payne. He didn't have a great game, but still. And McBride, Robinson he played pretty good yesterday. And obviously Brunson was okay. And Bridges Cat actually had a great game yesterday, finally, which helped them a lot. They didn't even go over 100 points yesterday. So you just know it was a defensive masterpiece by them yesterday. And I'm still a little iffy on Cat, bro. I need him to start taking some threes, but I want more out of Cat. I know he had 21 and 14 yesterday or 17 yesterday, but that's one guy that I need to see step up a little bit more. But Josh Hart had a great game yesterday. So look, I'm telling you, the Celtics. I don't know. I think that's the reason why. I still think they're going to win the series. I'm not going to lie because I don't believe in New York. But yeah, that's just my opinion on it.
Yeah, I mean, when teams that win the first two games of a best of 7 series on the road, they win like the series 85% of the time.
Yeah, I saw a stat that said that it was the only team. It was 34 teams to like ever come back from a 2-0 deficit out of like 400 times or something like that. So they have like a 7% chance.
Those two games that the road team would normally win are like 30-5, have a 30-5 record. So
right.
I mean, it's had to have 20-point comebacks in 3 straight games, in 3 straight days rather. This is the first time this has happened in the playoffs since they started tracking it. It was in like 98.
Yeah,
so it's like,
no,
it's insane.
I think Game 3 is like a must win for the Knicks. I'll be honest. If they want to really prove a point to Boston and they really want to put this series away, next game they have to win. Like, you can't be down by 20 at home. You gotta really give it to them in Game 3 because they're not gonna come back from 3-0. Never seen it. So
here go Brunson on what he said right after the game.
That's some wild stuff right there.
I'm dying to know if when you were at the free throw line to sink those two, if you were thinking of your end of regulation shot in Game 1.
No. I got up there, heard the noise, and then I just tried to block everything out, and then made 2.
The narrative after Game 1 was, well, the Knicks won because Boston missed so many threes. But you proved tonight it had nothing to do with how many threes they missed, everything about the talent and the determination of this team. What'd you prove?
We're just going to keep fighting. We just got to keep each other in the locker room, focus on each other, focus on us, and just focus on one thing at a time, never focus on Game 3.
MSG is ready for you. Thanks, Jalen.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's insane. I mean, Mikal Bridges had 14 points in the fourth quarter. That's how you come up clutch.
I mean, he had a bad game, but he went crazy. And then
that's what great players do. Like Steph Curry did. He didn't play well in the first half, and he ended with 22. Or Game 7. He didn't play well at all in the first half.
Yeah, Bridges. That's why they picked him up, bro. They picked him up so he could play that type of defense in the clutch and also make those crazy threes that he was started to making. So, I mean, he only made 2 of them last night, 2 for 8, but the 2 he made were pretty clutch. So, kudos to him.
Yeah, so that's what that series, I believe, continues tomorrow, I believe.
Yes, I believe so.
They'll be back in Indiana
maybe Thursday. I don't remember, but yeah,
could be Thursday. Well, today's Thursday
or Saturday. My bad.
Yeah, Friday or Saturday, one of the two. So they'll be in Indiana. They'll be trying to. Caitlin Clark was actually, hype as. I forgot what they said on Twitter, on Instagram or Twitter, one of the two, but she said something like tie or something like that. But it'd be interesting to see, how Indiana, because Indiana's now becoming a sports town. All they need is the coach to be good, and you'll have, all the sports being good in Indy.
Rick Carlisle's pretty good. And
then the Fever got one of the best coaches that in the W, Stephanie White. So they're having some. Indiana's the place to be right now. So I will say that. But
I always viewed Indiana as a place you went through to get to somewhere better.
Right.
But the Pacers are definitely, It would be wrong of me to suggest that I don't think the Pacers are a good basketball team. I think they're a very talented basketball team. And obviously taking it to one of the best teams in the NBA, going up 2-0. Yeah, that game was close the other night. And the first quarter was terrible. I mean, you went down 17 immediately, but 2 guys in 20-point scoring. You had 6 guys in double figures altogether. You nearly had 4 guys with 20-plus points that night. But
ridiculous.
There's something about the Pacers team this year that tells me that they might be the team of destiny. They just might. I really can't put my finger on it, but with Tyrese Halliburton leading the charge, they all rally around him. Miles Turner holds it down low. He can put up 20 and 10 on any given night. The other night he had 23 and 8. Halliburton, obviously, he didn't lead the way in scoring game 2, but he's your number 1 option. He's your number 1 guy. Aaron Nesmith, he seems to just have games where he can shoot the lights out of the ball. Like he'll go couple games in a row being a role player, and then every third or fourth game he'll go 60% from the field, 50 from 3, and he'll put 25 points on your noggin. So this Pacers team, it's unpredictable who that top scorer is going to be every single night, and that's what makes them so hard to guard and play defense against, is because your focus is always going to be on Halliburton and Miles Turner, but every given night there's going to be someone on that team that just takes it to you, and they're almost impossible to guard. They're almost impossible to guard. They're a very well-rounded team, arguably the most well-rounded team left in the playoffs.
To piggyback off that, the Golden State Warriors went into Minnesota, stunned AE and the Wolves. Bad news, though. Steph Curry did not return after injuring his hamstring. He has been ruled out for game 2, sadly. But Indiana Pacers stunned the Cavs in game 2 from being down double digits in the 4th just to lose with seconds remaining. From Mr. So-called irrelevant Halliburton hits a 3. So we got a clip of it. You got something to say before we play the clip?
I got to hate for a second. The Sacramento Kings, you are the worst organization in the NBA.
In professional sports.
You had De'Aaron Fox and Halliburton.
It is unbelievable that you traded for Domantas Sabonis, who has done nothing, absolutely nothing, took the Warriors to 7 and lost. And that's why he doesn't get voted as an all-star every year, because he's so overrated, in my opinion. So
that's someone that's overrated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's my Lithuanian king right there. All right, you watch it, but
stop it.
He's not the worst player in basketball. He's certainly not a number 1 option.
He's overrated.
He's certainly not a number 1 option.
He's a top 3 overrated player in the league.
He leads the league, and he's led the league in rebounds per game the last 3 seasons in a row: 13, 13, and 14.
What does that translate to?
That's exactly what I was about to say. Like we got to hold the same accountability like we did with Angel Reese, though. We got to hold the same.
That is true. But I mean, even that though, this year he's shooting 60% from the field. He had a near career high in 3-point percentage, and if you look at his 3-point usage rate, like his career high in threes, when he was shooting like 0.2 threes a game was 50%. Now he's taking 2.5 threes per game, and he's shooting 40% from beyond the arc, and still averaging 20 points a game. He's obviously not a number 1 option, and the Kings are dumb for trading their number 1 option in De'Aaron Fox. And I mean, hindsight's 2020. They're stupid for trading Tyrese Halliburton too. But Domantas Sabonis, to say he's a slouch or something like that, that's a little.
Say that. I'd say it's overrated.
It's a slouch. It's just that when it comes to winning time, I'm not gonna say he folds, but I'm just gonna say like the impact is not as great.
Oh, he's not clutch. He's not clutch. He's not a number 1 option, but he certainly isn't like he's certainly not the worst number 2 available. But when you have a team built like the Kings, where you had De'Aaron Fox, and now you're kind of stuck around with, I mean, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Sabonis. LaVine's going to be your number 1 option, but you don't really need Sabonis to be that clutch player. You don't need him to have that clutch factor. He's holding it down in the paint, plays good defense. He was getting DPOY votes last year, all-star 2 years ago, still dropping 20 and 13, 20 and 14 a game. I mean, that's all you can really ask for out of Sabonis, and he achieves that.
But it doesn't, like, there's certain players in the league that just they aren't winners to me, bro. And he's one of them. He gets all these stats, which is great. He's filling up the stat sheet for himself, but it doesn't translate to anything. I know that's not all on him because the organization is horrible, but if you're a star player on the team, if you're considered the best on your team, it should translate to something, especially when you've been to the playoffs in the past like 3 years. I think that should translate to a playing team, to getting into the playoffs as a 7 seed. You don't have to win first round all the time, but at least making it with that big of a caliber of a player. So it just, to me, before we get into that clip, I just wanted to hate a little bit and say the Kings are bad, but I do think Sabonis is one of the most overrated players in the league. I have to come up with my top 3, and I'll bring it back tomorrow, but he's definitely 3 for me.
All right, so we can play that clip, and then we have 2 angles of the clip as well.
Know you're going to get fouled. If you're the cat, your guys have got to do a much better job of getting open.
Misses. Halliburton the rebound. 9 seconds. They do have a timeout. Carlisle's going to let him play. Halliburton steps back and hits. Tyrese Halliburton trying to take Cleveland's heart. And it is over. The Indiana Pacers.
That's just unbelievable.
I'll
He's an
never
unbelievable
understand.
talent.
I'll never understand the overrated chance. Like I don't get it. Why do people consider him the most overrated player in the league? Like, why do players think that? I
Because
didn't
he's not.
For the same reasons you
He's not
consider
flashy.
Domantas Sabonis
Doesn't
overrated.
dunk.
It's just irrational hate. It's just
It
irrational
is
hate.
not the same though. This guy makes
No,
points
it's
every
not. I'll
year.
give you that. It's not the same. It's one of the best players in basketball versus Domantas Sabonis.
Let me
I
tell you-
get that.
let
It's
me
like
tell
a
you.
hydrogen bomb. It's hydrogen
you
bomb
about.
versus coughing baby all over again. But
No, yeah.
it's for the same reason though.
Why.
It's irrational.
I can tell you why. He's not one of those flashy superstars that you see in like AE.
He kind of is
LeBron
flashy
was.
though.
He's definitely flashy.
He's definitely
But
flashy.
he leads, he facilitates and wins through passing. When you look at Anthony Edwards, when you look at LeBron James, when you look at Steph Curry, when you look at Luka, what happens? Their offensive bag is insane. They love to showcase the scoring. But when it comes down to winning time, they want you to rather take the shot than pass it. Well, Tyrese Halliburton is going to either choose one of the two. He's going to pass it maybe, or he's going to take the shot. They don't like how he doesn't talk his talk. He doesn't walk the way. He doesn't go like, he's being carried by people. That's what people be saying. It's like, it's absolutely, he's getting unrational hate, and it's ridiculous. That's why.
I think he is flashy though. You see him on.
It's like Tatum. Why does Tatum get so much hate?
Because he's look at how he's playing right now.
But we can't say that though, because he won a ring. But when they won the ring, what are we gonna say about Tatum's legacy? Oh well, that ring, he ain't played nobody. He ain't do it. Why are they hating?
That's what they try and say about That's what they try and say about Giannis's ring too with the Bucks.
Who did he go through?
Yep, exactly. Like he
like,
went through a
Tatum.
kind of rough Heat team that they swept. Then they had to go through KD, but everyone's gonna say, "Oh, but KD's foot was on the line."
Yeah,
if it wasn't on the line. They're done. Like it's a big what if, but they still won the freaking championship.
Oh, Jason Tatum is considered the best player on his team, but didn't win either MVP awards in the playoffs. That's why he gets so much hate. But
that is fair.
That's more understandable than Tyrese Halliburton. He's the best player on his team, and they didn't help him out last year against the best team in the NBA.
And that's why he doesn't play for New York.
Yeah.
He doesn't play for LA. He doesn't play for Chicago.
Why do you think they're pushing Giannis out of Milwaukee?
Right.
I get the same thing with Tyrese Halliburton.
But the Pacers have a history of somewhat
You don't
winning more
play in
than the Bucks. The Pacers aren't like a winning organization, but they've been to the playoffs before and made some noise.
It's a small team. It's a small city. They don't get a whole lot of viewership unless they are actually winning. And now that they started winning, okay, now he's overrated. Oh, he does this, he does that. Oh, he passes well. He doesn't score a bunch. Sometimes he has like 10 points, but he has 13, 14 assists. Oh, it's not a flashy stat line. That's why he's getting hate.
It's like he's the token star of the league where you're excited for him when the team's bad, and then as soon as he starts taking over just a little bit, it's like, hey, dude, settle back down. You're back down here, all right? Like go back to where you belong, basically.
Yeah.
In terms of like NBA hierarchy, like go back towards the basement of the league. And no, like you gave him the opportunity to be a star, to bud and shine with the Pacers, be that number one option, and like utilize his play style You brought in the coaches. You built the personnel around him with Pascal Siakam. You kept Miles Turner around when he could have easily walked away, and he might still walk away this offseason. Who knows? You built up the team around him to really, what's the word I'm looking for? To optimize Tyrese Halliburton's style of play. You built the team around him, and now it's coming to fruition. And now is when people try and say that, oh, he's a product of the system. He's a product of his teammates. That's the whole point. That's literally the whole point, is to build a team around your star so that they become the best player they can possibly be. Look at the Cavs with Donovan Mitchell. They built that team up first and then added Donovan Mitchell as the final piece. And look how great they are. Look how great Donovan Mitchell is, right? He was still great with the Jazz, but he goes to Cleveland, which for NBA terms is a big market. For NBA terms, because of LeBron James' impact, it is a big market in the NBA. Goes to Cleveland, and that's why he's not getting hate. He's in a larger market than Indiana.
Yeah.
But they built that team for him. They built that team to put Donovan Mitchell right at the top. He was the cherry on top. And now they're one of, if not the best team in basketball. Same thing here with the Pacers. They're trying to be that. And people are giving them a lot of crap for it, even though they really completed the rebuild the right way.
And for all the people hating on Halliburton or talking down on him, here's the stat: 1997 and 98. Since then, teams are 3,164, 1,000. They're 3 and 1,640 when trailing by 7+ points in the final minute of the fourth quarter or OT in the playoffs. The Pacers have 2 out of those 3 wins in the last 8 days.
Pretty sure Doc Rivers is the coach in all 3 of those wins too, the opposing coach. I'm almost certain that he is. I'm or actually in 2 of the 3. I'm pretty sure Doc is 2 of those 3 games, because obviously the one with the Cavs. But Doc Rivers was obviously the second one, and I'm pretty sure that first situation, I'd have to fact check it, but I saw somewhere the other day that Doc Rivers was the coach in that first win of those 3 wins to 1,000+ losses.
Sounds about right.
Just insane to think about. But
and for the Warriors,
hold on, before we get to that,
to look at the Warriors and T-Wolves, they're without Steph Curry now.
Who cares? Jimmy Butler, we got it. We're good. We're good on
the Wolves.
On the right side.
The Wolves has shot 12 for 76 from 3-point range in the last 2 games.
They'll take tonight. I think they'll take tonight.
Game 1, which was 2 days ago, which was on, what was that, Tuesday, and then when they played Game 5, I believe, Game 5 in LA. Since then, those 2 games, they're 12 of 76. That's 15.7%.
Sam, you're about to see 1997 Jordan, as in Jimmy Butler, versus 1983 Michael Jordan and Ant go at each other for the next 3-4 games.
Oh yeah.
So
it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
No Steph Curry, no excuse. I mean, there's an excuse there. Yeah. I think it's a Mickey win if Ant gets it, because Steph isn't playing. Obviously, he was destroying them when he was healthy. Those 13 points.
There's only
so fast.
Yeah, there's only so much that a 36 or 37-year-old Mike Conley can do defensively against
he was getting
against a guy like Stephen Curry, who Stephen Curry is to me, he's like the Justin Verlander of the NBA. He's only getting better with age, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
But I think that I still have the Timberwolves winning this series, period. I think I had it from the jump too. They're not going to shoot that poorly.
No, they're not. That's what I said.
Every single game.
Right.
And I don't even think that. Oh, let me see if I can find it. ESPN's not very good at putting up teams. Oh, here they are, down at the bottom. They're not going to shoot 17% from 3 again. And at one point, I'm pretty sure they're in the single digit shooting percentage from 3 in that game. They're not going to keep 7%. Doing that. They have what? They had 31 points at half. Yeah, sign me up for a Timberwolves win tonight. It's an embarrassing loss. That's something that the locker room will turn around from. I don't see this series going to the Warriors. I think the Timberwolves they'll take tonight, like we both agreed on. As long as the Timberwolves can win one in Golden State, one of games 3 or 4, if they keep it at 2-2, That's their best chance of winning, and I think that's what will happen. Is they will keep it at 2-2, win Game 5, put a ton of pressure on the Warriors, and all it takes is a little bit of pressure and a little bit of Anthony Edwards getting in your face for you to start falling apart at the seams.
See, that's
So
what
I honestly, and I talked with a lot of people about this too. I personally like the Timberwolves to make it out of the West still. I still like them to make it out of the West. I think the reason they wouldn't is if Denver beats OKC, which after last night, I don't think that's happening.
Okay.
But I think,
Well,
I
how
think
about
the
this?
Timberwolves.
Hold on.
We got, what was it, 7 games so far throughout all of the second round series? How about 6 games of them being a road team's wins?
Listen,
Mhm.
OKC was the first team to win at home.
And
Everybody else is up 2-0.
they beat the
Or
snot
one.
out of them too.
Destroyed them.
If my math checks out, they had 8 double-digit scores. Like guys like AJ Mitchell, Aaron Wiggins, and Isaiah Joe each put up double digits. Like,
That's
are we
beautiful.
serious right now?
bro,
Denver? Are we serious?
that's the deep team, bro. That's the deepest team in the NBA. They are going to be able to do that the next few games, and as long as they stay efficient. Now, get back to the Warriors and Timberwolves. I'll tell you why the Warriors still have a great chance. You said Anthony Edwards gets in your face, gets in your head. Do you know who their top 2 players are now that Steph Curry's out? Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green. There is no one on this
the
planet.
definition. The
Draymond
definition of
Green.
getting in
When I
heads.
tell you, let me tell you something. Rudy
That's
Gobert.
some franchise history. 31 points allowed in the first half, fewest in the shot clock era ever by Golden State.
Rudy Gobert is the center of the Timberwolves. He is terrified of Draymond Green, and you can tell when they play against each other. Do you think Draymond Green has any inch of scare in his mind when Rudy Gobert steps on the court? Absolutely not. Do you think Jimmy Butler is scared of Anthony Edwards? No, not a lot, not very much. But when Anthony Edwards gets hot, obviously it's going to be a little tense. But if we're talking about Jimmy Butler here, probably I think a very good chance of being in the Hall of Fame, even though he hasn't gotten many accolades. I think he's in the
He
Hall of Fame.
will. He'll make
He wants
it.
the
in.
Hall.
So I think
Draymond
those
gonna
two
go to
leading the
Hall.
home, as long as Draymond Green is healthy, facilitating that offense, as long as Pods decides to stay playing great defense and rebounding and being that good control on the perimeter on the offensive side, as long as Buddy Hield continues to play like 2016 Stephen Curry for some reason, and then you got Jonathan Kuminga still on the bench, who Steve Kerr doesn't get along with for some reason, and he's still a great talent. Now he's going to get more minutes. They still have a great chance. They have a great cast of players around Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green, enough to win this game. Now, Julius Randle is the issue for me. If Julius Randle decides to turn up and be the Julius Randle that we know offensively, I think the Timberwolves will take this series. But I don't think that's going to be the case, because as long as those two are healthy, as long as someone is great at defense playing on Jimmy Butler or on Julius Randle, they're gonna struggle making these shots. You saw it the other day. Julius Randle was one of the only players actually making shots, but everyone else is not, even including Ant. So as long as they continue to do stuff like that, which I don't think it won't happen every game, but the games that matter, like tonight, if they take tonight, you have to understand we're talking about the Knicks and Celtics doing the same thing. The Knicks, they have a great chance of closing this series out next game. And guess where they have to go after tonight? They have to go back to Golden State. So it's going to be very difficult for me to say. I think we just have to wait till tonight. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we got to
tonight-
wait to see what happens tonight. I mean, Draymond Green joins LeBron James and Hakeem Olajuwon as only players in NBA history to rank in the top 25 all time in playoff steals, rebounds, and blocks. So when it comes down to defense, he's one of the bar. He's one of the bars to defense.
He's a Hall of Famer, a purified Hall of Famer. He's going to lead this team if he has to. He's now the leader. Okay, and that's crazy to say when Jimmy Butler's on your team, but Jimmy Butler wants to be a facilitator as well, and I think they're gonna have to get this Michael Jordan side out of him and for him to score 40 again and get back to that Jimmy Butler, because that's exactly what we need now. Okay, as Steph Curry fan, we need him to help out Curry while he's out. So that's my opinion. I think they still have GP2 playing. He's such an athletic player, dude. I don't know what's wrong.
He's very underrated.
He's insane. So you can put him on anybody to guard. I mean, it's gonna be tough because he's a little undersized, but he's still a great athletic player. So
Fighting in the rebounds.
his name is Gary Payton. So
it is true. That is true.
So I mean, look, I still got Warriors. After the other night, it's going to be very tough for me not to get off that Warriors train. Even
It'll be a dogfight.
So I got Warriors in 6 though, man. I'm gonna be honest. And then if the Wolves do win and they play the Thunder, I think it's sad. I don't think anybody can really mess with them right now. The best team in the league right now.
Well, the Warriors do have great defense, and it's
That's true.
showing that
It's true.
the Timberwolves were really a high electric offense too. So the defense does win championships. Y'all
Oh, yeah,
go
Sam,
back and
wait.
forth for that.
Wait, Sam, wait. Are you sure defense doesn't win championships? Are you?
We
Are we
can get that.
I don't know. It's kind of
we can do that.
it's kind of hard to beat a
wait.
team that puts up 149 points.
Oh, my
so.
goodness.
We can do that as final thoughts, but we're gonna jump into the last topic as the
I should
playoffs
reword
look
that
at.
as I should reword that and say that it's kind of hard to lose when you put up 149. But yeah, let's carry on.
Yeah, we'll look at that as final thoughts, but we're gonna jump into the playoffs real quick. The NHL is looking quite interesting. On Tuesday, the Hurricanes and Oilers both upset their respective opponents, the Capitals and the Golden Knights, while last night the Stars upset the Jets and the Toronto Maple Leafs go up 2-0 on the defending champs. So we have a we got the actual playoff bracket up. You got the 2 games already done in Toronto, so now they head back to Florida, and then you got the Carolina Panthers, not the Carolina Panthers. Ugh, Jesus, Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina Hurricanes upset Ovechkin, the Great 8, in Washington. So it's actually pretty cool to see. But my Winnipeg Jets that I picked to win the championship are now 1-0 to Dallas. And you have right there Edmonton up on Vegas. I will say that Rantanen had another hat trick in back-to-back games. He had it in. All 3 of his goals came into the second period. They didn't between that game, the Dallas Stars and the Winnipeg Jets. There was no scoring in the first period or the third period. It all came in the second. So it's like their offense can really turn up quickly.
We were talking about back a couple weeks ago when we first made our predictions, and my teams are still alive. They're still in Winnipeg and the Caps, but I must say that this Stars team, they're expected to get Miro Heiskanen and Jason Robertson back at some point during the season. Robertson had 35 goals during the season. Heiskanen is their best defenseman, arguably. Mikko Rantanen is also just an insane hockey player. And this is a team that's going to give Winnipeg trouble. We saw St. Louis nearly take them out. It took a miracle run in Game 7 for Winnipeg to somehow sneak out a win against the true 8th seed in the Western Conference. They're vulnerable. They're very vulnerable.
Yep.
Connor Hellebuyck played terrible hockey.
Horrible.
As their goalie in that series. He was terrible. Getting pulled 3 straight games in a row. You were considered one of the best goalies in professional hockey just a couple months ago, and then you turn into a replacement level player in a time that you need to be at your best, right? This Winnipeg Jets team is most definitely vulnerable, and the Stars, I think the Stars could get past them, and I think the Stars could probably get past either Vegas or Edmonton, whoever comes out of that bottom part.
Well, he got a point. I mean, the Dallas Stars are the hottest team right now.
They're hot.
I had Dallas winning, but I didn't have them going all the way. I don't think they can beat EDM. I don't think they can. I'll be honest.
I don't even know if EDM is going to make it past Vegas.
They just won, bro. There's a good chance they make it past. I think Dallas is going to probably win this series in like 5. Okay,
that would be an incredible Western Conference Finals, Edmonton versus Dallas, because McDavid hasn't scored a goal since Game 3 of the LA series, and that was an empty net. So really, he has 2 total goals in the playoffs, but really 1 in 5-on-5 regular formation with the goalie.
Right.
He hasn't even gotten going.
I was never a big believer in Winnipeg. I'll be honest with you. I was more of a Dallas Stars guy, and there's something about Edmonton that just makes me feel like they're gonna beat the Stars. You guys can say it better than I can, but I mean, from what I've watched, I just feel like Edmonton is just gonna be out the West. And then I did have faith in Florida, but that's not going very well for me right now. So unfortunate. But Carolina, Washington, I already had Carolina, but that Toronto team looks good. I don't know.
Toronto does look good, but I'm still hating.
You are hating, yeah.
They're
I
still
told
gonna-
you,
they
I
gonna-
told you they were gonna win this series, bro.
They're still the Dallas Cowboys in the NHL.
Bro, the Dallas Cowboys haven't made an NFC championship in like 30 years.
Exactly. So
They're gonna make an Eastern Conference Finals.
we'll see. They got to go
Maybe.
win in Florida.
Yeah, okay, that's true. That's a tough
Florida's a
task.
problem at home.
I'll admit that.
Florida
is
wins 2
disgusting
games.
at home.
If Florida wins both their games at home, they're going to come back with a different level of energy in Toronto, and they're going to win 1 game in Toronto.
Brad Marchand supremacy, by the way. Brad Marchand is arguably the best player in that series. Austin Matthews is also terrific. They still have John Tavares, if I'm not mistaken, but he's slowly fizzled out ever since that trade from the Islanders. But I still like Florida. Like you said, Jalen,
Yeah.
Toronto's the Dallas Cowboys of the NHL.
I had Florida
Make
winning.
it to the playoffs mentality will only take you so far.
I'm
It'll only
not.
take you so far.
I'm not jumping off the boat yet. Florida's probably my favorite team. Florida and Dallas are probably my favorite teams, but I think Florida has a little bit more for me. But I've watched both those games now, and I'm like, bro, I don't know.
Mhm.
We're not doing too good. So you're right, though. In Florida, they're an issue at home. So I will give you that for sure.
Which is surprising because you don't think hockey's that big in Florida, but they have
Which is crazy.
3 Stanley Cup champions in the last like 6 years. So,
Right.
Going back to Vegas, Edmonton, you got to remember, Vegas figured them out 2 years ago when they won the Stanley Cup.
It's a different team, bro.
They beat them in 6. It's largely the same. Stuart Skinner is still there as their goalie.
but
Leon Draisaitl is still there. He had 52 goals this year, and Connor McDavid is Connor McDavid. But it's largely the same team. And it's largely the same Vegas team as well. You still have your core guys in Will Carlson, Jack Eichel. I mean, it's a very similar matchup, and that was also in the second round, if I'm not mistaken. So this is it was either second round or Western Conference Finals. I forget which one. Based on the dates, it looks second round. So it's largely the same teams going at it. They were able to figure them out. Vegas was the better team all season. I see Vegas taking them out.
So
Edmonton was just there last year. Granted, they were just there last year, and McDavid won the Conn Smythe Trophy despite being on a losing team in the Stanley Cup Finals. Still won the Conn Smythe. But I like Vegas. I just like Vegas. They figured them out before. They'll figure them out again.
What separates them then? Because I think Edmonton, like you just listed off why Edmonton should win.
I just listed off that they're the better team on paper, and they still lost to these guys a couple of years ago. The same team's going at it.
They're the better team.
They're the better team, and they lost. They're the better team. They lost.
But they're winning now. They won 1 game.
It's 1-0. It's 1-0.
That's still a game, bro. That's still enough to show they're the better team. And you even know, you just said it, bro. Edmonton. I don't know. I don't think Dallas can beat Edmonton. I'll be honest with you. I don't think so. I think they could beat Vegas, but I don't think they could beat Edmonton. That team's.
I think they could beat both. I think
right now, maybe. Right now, if they're playing them right now, maybe. But next round, when they both get enough rest, or depending on the games, obviously, when they figure each other out a little bit after game 1, it's going to be very difficult for both teams to win. But I still have Edmonton by a little bit.
It's going to be very interesting to see. I mean, I believe that Carolina is doing the unthinkable at this moment. There's so many people that had Ovechkin winning. Like, it's absolutely insane. So I will say it'll be a very big hockey playoff as we come to it. As we come down to the stretch of playoffs, you got Hurricanes and Capitals tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and then you got Oilers and Golden Knights tonight at 9.
I'm gonna want to watch that game. I'm gonna watch that game tonight, Nas, a little bit. I'm bowling a sweeper tonight, so I'll have it up on my phone. But I'm gonna watch that game tonight. And lest we forget, Mark Stone backpacked that team immediately to a 2-0 lead in the first period. Yep. And it took till all the way to the third period for Edmonton to tie back up and eventually take the lead. And then they had a garbage time goal on an empty net, right?
It don't matter how you started. It matters how you end it.
It was a close game all game. The score does not tell the story. That was a close game.
Oh, it was.
All game.
But it matters how you end it. Who won?
Edmonton did win, but it's game 1. It's game 1. Edmonton. What do you want me to say? Like, you want me to tell you Vegas won? Like, they didn't. They didn't win.
I'm excited for the game, man. I'm excited for the series. This is my favorite series so far because I think Toronto and Florida will be my favorite series. But
my favorite series so far was the Dallas Colorado series. That was a good series. That one everyone knew going into it that series could have gone either way. Easily could have gone either way. And then Dallas out of nowhere. I remember watching that game Saturday night, Game 7, between the Stars and the Avalanche. And I'm watching that pub. You guys know pub.
Yeah.
Watching that game there. And hold on, let me find because I don't remember all the names. You know, I'm not the biggest in hockey yet, but hold on. Come on, search bar, work for me here.
Jalen,
that was impressive to just at one point. I turned around and it was a little more than just like turning around, turning back around. But Colorado up 2-0. I'm thinking they're gonna run the table. Nathan McKinnon with that second goal right away to start the third period. I'm like, okay, yeah, this one's wrapped. And then I turn around, start talking to somebody, and Dallas is up 3-2. And it was like, what the hell just happened? And then Rantanen finishing off the hat trick with that garbage time goal. And that was a fun game to watch. A lot of defense, especially in the first two periods. Only a 1-0 game through 2. That game ends 4-2 in favor of the Stars. That was a great game to watch. And that series overall, going all the way to 7. We knew it was going to go to 7. That was a fun one.
They gotta start putting these games on TNT more, man. They put them on ESPN all the time. I need to. I like.
Well, with the NBA leaving TNT,
I know
that opens the floor. That opens the floor for hockey to just that TNT's main thing is baseball and hockey now, which would be great because they run terrific broadcasts for both.
They do.
They really do, and they got good voices for both. Imagine hearing BA on hockey. Wouldn't that be sick?
Yeah, that'd be tough.
Brian Anderson calling hockey games, dude. Sign me up, please.
I need that.
He's got baseball with the Brewers, national TV with baseball. He's got college basketball, the occasional NBA game. If they imagine they'd keep like 1 or 2 games every once in a while on TNT if they could. Right. But BA calling hockey, oh man, that would be so fun.
Jalen, who's your what's your favorite series out of the 4 so far? We've already said ours. I didn't hear yours.
It has to be Edmonton, Vegas. That's the best series so far. I mean,
my favorite, bro.
That's Jets and the Stars could change that depending on how next game goes. But as of right now, hands down, it's obviously hands down the Oilers and the Golden Knights at this point.
I think the Carolina-Washington one is good, but it needs a little bit more pizzazz. I don't know. So
many storylines for the Knights and so many storylines for the Golden Knights and the Oilers.
Yeah,
they've played each other like quite a few times. So
it's just, man, Toronto, man, they 5-4 and then 4-3. I mean, it's such close games, but it's just like they're just better at finishing when it comes to against Florida, bro. Like you said, the score doesn't tell the whole story, but
does not.
Yeah,
but we'll jump into our final thoughts real quick. Final thoughts today will be: does defense win championship? We're going back to this.
Sam, go ahead, bro.
We're doing this again.
Let them go at it because last time Sam said it, that's when they got Luka, and that's when Luka and it was going crazy, going off. And now the Lakers lose in 5 because Luka can't play defense, and the Wolves win because they play defense, and the Wolves lost because the Warriors played defense. And
the Knicks played.
The Celtics and the Indiana Celtics and the Knicks won. The Knicks won twice, and they played defense.
Now the Pacers.
They had defense on that last play. The Celtics just couldn't buy a shot in the last 8 minutes.
Well, go ahead. I'm gonna put my feet up.
They just couldn't buy a shot in the last 8 minutes.
The Pacers, I give you that. Their offense is absolutely great. Yeah, their offense won them that. They're winning that series purely off of their offense. Their defense isn't that great to me. But the other 3 series is just like, I mean, the Nuggets, okay, Thunder, yeah, Thunder just scored 150 points on them, yes.
The Thunder had clamped the Nuggets last game.
Like, couldn't do anything. No one could do anything, even Jokic.
Jokic only had like 17. He looked horrible.
Bro, I'm trying to tell you, defense is like, the thing that is going to win you these championships, especially going through these playoffs, especially in the NBA. Okay. Now, when we get to football, a whole different story. Okay. Completely, kind of same story. Defense is still going to win you those championships, but it's a little bit different of a game, obviously. So I still think, based off of what we've seen so far, defense is going to win the championship this year, and it won't be because of a super team winning and them scoring 100-something points, 130 points, whatever. It's going to be because it comes down to the defense. Now, OKC and whoever comes out the East, I don't really know who's going to come out the East at this point, to be honest with you. I still think maybe the Celtics, but if they lose next game, it's over. But whoever comes out the West and comes out the East, it's going to come down to defense in the final series. And who has the better defense? That's going to help them a lot in winning those games.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I think you're wrong. Well, so looking at the first game between the Thunder and the Nuggets, it's kind of hard for a team to lose when they put up 150 points. It's kind of hard, right?
You have to deliberately lose, yes.
You'd have to purposely lose. And yeah, you could say, well, they played defense to make sure they didn't score 150, but no team is beating another team scoring 150 points in a game. That's just not going to happen. Say what you want about Jokic had a bad night. Even if he has a good night, even if he drops 30, they still lose by 25 points. And that's the reality of the situation. Now, looking at the last few NFL champions, right? You look at the last few. The last Super Bowl winners, let's go to, I think this article updates as a 2022. If I can actually read what I'm seeing here. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl in 2022.
Correct.
They had the 16th ranked defense in football, number 1 ranked offense.
Ranking for defense does, bro. If you play it right,
The Rams in 2021
they have the best
were
defensive
ranked the
coordinator in the league.
15th. They're 15th in defensive efficiency.
Cool, and they still
Buccaneers were 8th. The Chiefs in 2019 were 7. The Patriots were 7. The Eagles, the most recent defense-oriented team that won a Super Bowl was the 2017 Eagles.
You just named 3 top 10 defenses. What are you talking about?
Yeah, sure. They're going up against other teams that are also terrific defensively and offensively too. Someone's got to win the game, and that someone has to win, right? The last truly elite defensive team we saw win a Super Bowl was the 2017 Eagles. That was the last time we saw that. I mean, you look, the Patriots against the Rams in 2018. That game was a snooze fest. I don't even think we can count that. That game was terrible.
That was a defensive game.
That game was terrible. It wasn't even a defensive game. Neither team could move the ball downfield because of their own their own offensive inefficiencies.
No, because Todd Gurley was injured.
Because
Todd Gurley was injured the entire.
So if he's healthy, their offense is prolific and they win that Super Bowl because of their offense.
That's one of the best Patriots defense we've seen.
Sam,
do you understand
game was
what
not won by
Eagles
defense.
team?
The game was not won by defense. The game was won by whose offense messed up the least. I almost exhibited my French there.
That's that 2017 Eagles. The Eagles.
Tom
Brady put up 500 yards on them. What do you mean? That's the one you're describing.
Eagles in 2017.
Eagles versus Patriots. He put up 500 yards, passing yards on them, and they lost because they made a mistake on the goal line. Because they didn't score. Because they could not score. They made a mistake.
Yeah, and the Eagles still scored 41 points to win that game.
And how much did
the offense showed up to win that game?
How much did the Patriots score that game?
33.
They held them.
The Eagles scored 41. They held to 33. They held
in the fourth quarter.
Points.
I'm admitting Tom Brady had that offense was absolutely beautiful that year, and especially that game. But what happened in the fourth quarter? What won them that game? Gronk was on the goal line and they did not score.
Are you talking about that bomb to the end zone that he didn't catch because there was 12 people there? That's gonna happen. The only time in the last years that we've seen a tip drill actually result in a touchdown was last year Bears Commanders.
Okay.
That was that's like the last time we've seen it in years.
Let's focus on the
on
20.
tip
Let's
drill.
focus on the 2020s. Okay. What was the Super Bowl in 2020? Tampa Bay versus Chiefs. Right?
Chiefs Bucks. Yeah.
What happened that game?
Tampa Bay scored 30 points and won the Super Bowl.
How many did the Chiefs score, Sam?
They scored 9.
Oh my God!
But that was also, dude. Mahomes played like garbage that game.
Because you know why? Because their D line was destroying him. You know what happened last year? You know what happened this year? I mean, the entire game, the defensive line was destroying Patrick Mahomes again. And what happened? What was in 2021? Rams Bengals, right?
Rams
Great
Bengals.
game, great overall balanced game. Okay,
Yeah,
not too much scoring. And you know what won them that game? Aaron Donald, the defensive player of the year. Not that year, maybe, but he's one of the best defensive players ever, and he destroyed Joe Burrow in the last play with Jamar Chase was wide open because Eli Apple left him, or no, not Eli Apple. My apologies. I think Jamar Chase was just wide open. Okay, Aaron Donald sacked him on the final possession right there for the Bengals, or second to last, one of those. Okay, what was the next year? Chiefs versus who?
Chiefs and Niners.
Right, Chiefs Niners. What was the score of that game?
That game was, if I'm not mistaken, let me go find it. Chiefs, Niners, Super Bowl 2022.
2023, right? Or no?
Yeah, 25-22 went to OT.
And okay, that's one of the games that I'll give to you, okay? That game was defensive all game until overtime when they made that stupid mistake, okay? That game could have gone either way. I'll admit that.
And then you had Chiefs Eagles in 2023.
And what was that score?
Let me find it.
I remember that
was
game being
38-35.
I remember that game.
Yeah, the PI.
That game was decided
or the lack thereof. Yeah,
of a great play that was a hold or something like that. Or no, it was PI. I don't remember which one it was.
It was no, it was holding. You were right because it was pre.
It was on Juju. I know it was on Juju. That's all I remembered. Okay, and it was a holding play, and it was a completely clean play in my opinion. Okay, and it was defense, and that game was high scoring. Okay, that was a rough game for both defenses, but at the end of the day, the defense, in my opinion, the Eagles' defense stopped them, but the Chiefs just got bailed that year. The year before that, whatever, Chiefs got it for them. So this year, oh no, last year was the OT game. The year before that, I'm trying to think. What was there was an OT game after the Rams Bengals one. The Chiefs played the Niners. That was OT.
See, that's what I was seeing too, and now I'm like second guessing myself because I just looked up the 24 game and it was the same result. Yeah, that was the OT one.
The last time they played, they were I can't remember.
That was 2020. Okay, so we were tripping then. We included an extra game. So we talked about the 24. We talked about the 24 Super Bowl as if it was the 23 Super Bowl. We flipped the two around.
Okay. Well, you get the point. So this year for the Super Bowl, the Eagles defense won the night championship. I can give it Patrick Mahomes winning the Super Bowl.
Cooper DeJean, Zach Bond, yeah, that I can give you those. But even if you take away that Cooper DeJean pick 6, even if you take that away, the Eagles are still winning that game. Probably, like hypothetically, let's say the Chiefs score that drive. You take 7 points, give it to the Chiefs. The Eagles still win 33-29. They still win that 33-29. That's an offense first game that crushes the over. You gotta outscore your opponent still. You can't just defense. Defense alone will not win you a championship. Is it important? Yes, of course. No way am I saying defense is not important, but it is not the sole reason why teams win championships anymore.
When it comes down to the wire.
In the early 2000s, sure. In the late 90s, yeah. Not anymore today. Chicks dig the long ball. They want to see 500 yards and 6 touchdowns. They don't want to see punt. They don't want to watch Big Ten football.
No, that's not the
specifically
point,
Iowa
Sam.
football. They don't want to watch Iowa football.
You're slipping.
They don't want to watch Iowa football. They want to watch prime Aaron Rodgers throw 7 touchdowns on the Bears.
Well, we got that battle out of the way. They're going to be doing this for a while. So subscribe, like, share, comment, follow our podcast page on all platforms. We have a Spotify as well. If you're on Spotify, please click the YouTube side and subscribe so you can watch it video-wise. We will be posting reels, shorts of the shows, polls, question boxes, and you can always DM us on things you'd like to have answered or comments you may have. You know, we try to dive into a lot of certain different topics as well. So with that, this was Shot of Sports. We'll see you tomorrow.